And so it's a little more difficult, but there are people out there, people that I know directly that are very active in sex education kinds of things.
How about you're nodding, Heather?
I also think, in addition to sex education, is access to like reproductive issues, and access to contraceptives has been very important for youth to be active around and to lobby for and to fight for, because a lot of youth don't have the money that you have when you're a little bit older and established, and we really depend on like Planned Parenthood programs that really help us get cheaper contraceptive. And I know that it's been very, very helpful for many people my age.
Have you seen your peers engage in any form of activism or community education that would help promote access to birth control or emergency contraception or spread awareness of it?
We've done a lot to spread awareness of emergency contraceptives, both on the internet and actually flyering. One way we do a lot is we flyer on the main area at UW that gets a lot of information. And also we've lobbied for more funding for to help pay for contraceptives and emergency contraceptive for people.
Okay, so you have seen your peers.
Yes.
I know, I mean, again, I have a very specific vantage point because I work at NARAL Pre-Choice Washington, so I get to see everybody who's involved. But I know that when we've gone to the legislature to, the hearings, there's always been youth representation there. Last week, we were at the Board of Pharmacy. The Washington State Board of Pharmacy is considering rules as to whether or not pharmacists or pharmacies have to fill prescriptions, including emergency contraception. And I was really happy to see a lot of college-age youth there. So I guess I have a very privileged standpoint in that I see a lot of people who are involved. But I think the youth are stepping up, and that's very exciting for me to say, and it's very exciting for me to be involved with. Let's see. So we were talking earlier about elections, and the truth is that young people really turn out to vote in far lower numbers than the rest of the voting population. And in 2006, the most recent elections, 24% of voters between the ages of 18 and 29 actually voted, and that's compared to 40% of all eligible voters. And so I guess I'm curious what your thoughts are as to, since traditional methods of engaging young people to vote don't seem to be working, we need to change our paradigm. We need to try and do it differently. So I know you have some thoughts. You work with the Bus Project.
Yeah,
you should tell us what that is.
Okay, so basically the Bus Project is, there was a grant that was given to some people, and the grant was on the condition of just between the ages of 16 to 35, they want to engage people in that age range in civics and civic engagement, and that's like a wide variety of things. And it's also, and one of the things is that we want to engage them through creative ways. And as far as like what type of civic participation, it could be like around an issue, something that's being passed in the city, some ordinance that they don't like, or it could be like supporting some type of a progressive candidate who stands for whatever like issue that really is going to affect or interest young people. And I think one of the ways, traditional ways, like as I was talking about earlier, young kids move around a lot. That's one problem, getting them registered, being able to contact them. But I think one way to really inspire them is I think that maybe like us and also people who are really in high positions should come out and really excite the youth. Yeah. And I was doing this spoken word at UW, and it's like a rap kind of, and I thought it was really creative, and I thought I captivated the crowd very well. And at the very end, I said, what can we do to change? Support Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign. And as soon as I said that line, I have to tell you, the crowd went absolutely ecstatic. And most of those kids were like, they're minorities, and they were like, early 20s, and so I almost wish I had a bunch of voter registration forms and could go run out there and be like, all right, I need you all to register.
Next time you do spoken word, make sure to take the voter registration forms so that when you get everybody all hyped up, you can be like, bam, 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 and pass it out really fast. Yeah. What are some other ways that you guys think is a better way to get young people mobilized or involved other than the traditional ways?
I think it's really hard with how the forms are handed out and how you have to mail them in, because honestly, if we could do it on the internet, we'd have a lot more youth, because that's really where we are orientated. And when it comes to having to mail something in and fill it out, I know it's really simple, but a lot of people don't even think about it or think it takes too much time because we're so used to doing everything online and through emails.
Well, I can't cite where these statistics come from because I read things in the news all the time, but I do remember reading that in states where they have same-day registration, the youth vote turns out at much higher percentages than in states where it takes a longer time to register. So I think that is one way that we can make voting more accessible. I think we have to meet people where they're at, and if truly we are a democracy that wants to represent all of the people, then we need to make voting accessible to all the people.
I was just thinking, I did a change of address on the post office online. You know, I went to the post office website to do that, so you should be able to change your registration if you can change your address online. So,
do you guys have any other ideas about that? About ways to mobilize youth or creative ways to get youth involved, not just with voting, but just in participating and learning about the issues?
I think just getting out there. I mean, it's kind of easy to sit and talk about it, and that's great and all because we really do need to get a strong foundation started. But I think we just need to get out there and go into high schools or go into colleges like we're doing, and just really try to pump up the activism.
Develop leaders, like I think that, because like us, we could, if we could just like take charge of an issue like global warming, and we could go to all the fairs, the Fremont fairs, and all these other things that are going on, have a booth, and maybe at least be there and talking to people and be like, okay, we're going to rally around this issue, and this is how we're going to. I mean, it takes a lot of time and a lot of organization, but I think if you have really committed youth leaders, then I think they can really do a lot.
So, I mean, kind of what I take from that is that you all feel that youth should be the face, perhaps, of NARAL or of a political activity. And I have a really great suggestion for how youth can be the face for NARAL and really get involved and learn the issues, what's going on in our state and what's going on in our country in regards to reproductive choice. They can also learn the skills of organizing, and that's by interning with NARAL Pro-Choice Washington. If you go to our website, it's www.prochoicewashington.org, all spelled out, and you'll see that on the bottom of the screen. Then you'll find information about our internships. We, in particular, have a couple of really unique internship opportunities called Students for Choice internships that happen at the high school and the college level. At the high school level, it's a service learning model, so you come in and you get workshops, you get to learn about the reproductive justice struggle and what that looks like, and then apply that through practical service in the NARAL office. At the campus level, we teach you how to organize, and you get to organize in your own campus community, no matter where in the state that is. So again, go to our website, prochoicewashington.org. If you're not a young person, but you know one, you need to spread the news. Pass this information on. Don't keep it to yourself, because frankly, we really do count on the young people to step up and to begin to be the leaders in this movement. And I think NARAL Pro-Choice Washington is doing a good job at bridging the gap between the young people of today and the women who have fought so long and so hard since the 70s for us. So, you know, I want to thank you all for coming here and having this conversation with me today. Again, we had Heather Hughes, Samir Ronaday, and Marissa Wilson, 3 excellent examples of young people who are out there and doing activism and engaging in amazing stuff in the community. And I want to thank you for tuning in to your community television station, Scan TV. Continue to support community media. It's one of the last few safe places that's not owned by huge media conglomerates, and where you can actually get the perspectives and the points of view of your neighbors, your community members. This isn't being piped in from the East Coast. So thanks for tuning into this conversation on sex education. This show is called Community Women's Voices. As I said, it's a joint venture between NARAL Pro-Choice Washington and the Seattle chapter of NOW. I've been your host today and your producer for this show, Sasha Summer-Kuzno. Thanks for tuning in.